Hey everybody, Joseph Rothschild here, aka MBT, and I am jet lagged. I am barely conscious. At least if this one comes out rambly, I have an excuse this time. So today we're going to be talking about the economics of Yu-Gi-Oh! So in case you haven't heard, Yu-Gi-Oh's dying. It's always dying. And while the recent proclamation by community figureheads has all the same trappings as every other time we say that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is dying, the format sucks, the content creators are too woke now, it also has a new angle that I thought it would be at least a little bit interesting to explore, and that is an economic one. A lot of the problems in Yu-Gi-Oh! Currently have to do with the economic side of the game, be it purchasing cards, having the ability to resell cards that you already own, or, unfortunately, collecting money through prizing. Against the late Kazuki Takahashi's wishes, the monetary side of things has kind of come to the forefront. And as now Yu-Gi-Oh! Finds itself in a really precarious position relative to a bunch of new card games like Lorcana, I feel like it's something that's worth talking about. Now, if you all know anything about me, it's that 1, I love capitalism, and 2, that I am qualified to talk about the state of the economy. I thumbed through Capital. That's something, right? So without further ado, let's talk about the topic of this video, why Yu-Gi-Oh! Makes no financial sense and its ramifications. So one of the reasons why I really appreciate Yu-Gi-Oh! When it comes to the big 3 of card games, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, and Pokemon, is that Yu-Gi-Oh! Has by far the most aggressive reprint policy of any reasonable TCG I've ever played. Cards that are super powerful and expensive are routinely reprinted at the earliest possible convenience, which is really, really good for getting access to cards if you're looking to play the game. But it's really, really bad if you're a vendor or a financial speculator. It's important to understand that these individuals are, however unfortunately, a necessary part of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Infrastructure. Vendors and high-end collectors need to feel like it's worth it to sink money into the product, open product, and thereby make a significant amount of the commons, uncommons, and rares available to people on sites like TCG Player. In short, for them to stay in business, it has to be worth it to do business. Now, the way that Konami has resolved this problem is actually pretty ingenious. Collectors and vendors can functionally play the market on high-end staples. Things like Starlight Masquerena, old Altis, specific prints of cards like Retro Pack. The scarcity of these cards, and how absolutely cool they are, means that they can go all in on these extremely expensive options and basically be assured that these products are only going to increase over time, however slowly. This gives vendors, high-end collectors, and even OTSs that stock singles a reason to invest in the card game. These cards look great as the front page of a binder or behind glass next to dual lands. They're enticing, they're sexy, and I do appreciate that people with a lot of money have the ability to sink said money into what they consider an investment in a game that they love. Now, when we look at Magic, we recognize the disastrous implication of keeping these individuals around. If they decide they no longer want to play in their world of exclusives, they may decide to invest instead in cards that are absolutely critical to play the game at all. This is how you get duels to the price that they are. This is how you get Martin Scully posting on MTG Finance trying to crash the legacy market by buying as many duels as he can before his prison sentence. That's why a bunch of recent Konami decisions are, baffling to me. I like the position that Yu-Gi-Oh's in. A reprint policy that's super aggressive allows the common player to always access individual cards for their deck, but never goes so far as to devalue the binders of individuals who are looking to invest in any sense of the word. Except that Konami has decided to do a bunch of stuff that does devalue those collections. Recently, they've announced they're reprinting Light of Destruction. Why? Light of Destruction's a weird set to select for a reprint. There's not too much in there that people actually want. Oh god, the Arcana Forces. I guess like Substitute's in it, but it's also in the Battles of Legends set, so who cares? High-end collectors are mostly just scrambling for first ed editions of these individual cards, but printing any number of secret rares like Charge of the Light Brigade is going to make them sweat a little bit. This goes double for sets that aren't differentiated between a reprint set and the original by a first ed stamp like Retro Pack, which Konami is reprinting for some reason. A bunch of people have talked about this already, but it makes no sense that this set that is only really well known because of its scarcity is getting a reprint at a time when every single card in it is widely available at like a dozen rarities to everyone. I imagine if you're a high-end collector, this is a pretty big turnoff. Like, at best, Konami is displaying to you the only way you are going to be able to sufficiently invest in this game and sell singles is by orchestrating ridiculous buyouts on cards that people actually need, like SP Little Knight and Diabell Star, and at worst, you're just going to stop investing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever. But the economic weirdness doesn't just stop with vendors, it also extends to competitors. One of the things I think sets Yu-Gi-Oh! Apart from other card games is the ceiling on its talent. The best Yu-Gi-Oh! Players in the world are so unbelievably good at Yu-Gi-Oh! It is staggering. And yet, in recent months, people have noticed top names kind of falling off the map entirely, not even showing up to tournaments. That's because being good at Yu-Gi-Oh! Doesn't actually do anything for you. I mean, look at how Magic the Gathering treats its pros. You know intimate details about every person on the Pro Tour. But in Yu-Gi-Oh! You've got like the casters going, Dinka Bui, isn't he the pearly guy? No, that's Dinka Pham. Ah, well. No charismatic is put into incentivizing individuals to actually top a premier event like a YCS. No care is taken to make mythologies, and importantly, the rewards are just not there. Check out this thread where an individual who's really good at Pokemon revealed that he made $55,000 in prizing over the course of a year. This guy's a massive outlier, of course, but a lot of Magic the Gathering individuals are able to make a bunch of significant tournament results into a career. Some of that is prizing, but the majority is if you are notorious enough within the community, you can leverage that into sponsorships, get a little channel fireball money. What's the best Yu-Gi-Oh can manage? In terms of prizing, if you win, you're getting what? A Nintendo Switch and a copy of Psycho Battle Royale. Maybe a couple of months later, they're going to mail you a trophy that has a vanilla card nobody wants in it. You compare that to a card game like Lorcana, which is attached to an unsinkable IP in Disney and is giving out thousands of dollars of prizing to even mediocre competitors, and a lot of our top talent starts making a calculation. Yu-Gi-Oh's the best card game in the world, but if consistently winning events nets you maybe airfare to a tournament, well, you might want to consider a game where you can feed yourself. Okay, we've spent a significant amount of time talking about the economics of the people who already have a lot of money, the people who have a lot of talent. Let's talk about the rest of us. The rest of them. The lifeblood of Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't the misprint princes of the world, it isn't the Christian Uranus of the world, it's the individuals playing the worst Blue Eyes White Dragon profile you've ever seen, copied card for card from a 2018 Teen Samurai X1 video at Locals. You know, the common clay.
You know, morons.
Even if the individuals responsible for Yu-Gi-Oh's secondary market or the individuals at the top of the Yu-Gi-Oh ladder aren't able to make a pretty penny, at least players can enjoy playing the card game, right? Well, have you seen the prices for cards lately? During COVID, something broke. I mean, mostly people's brains, but also prices on Yu-Gi-Oh cards. The COVID format was one of the most expensive in modern memory, and basically it hasn't gone down since. Decks right now cost like $700 or $800 if you want to be consistently competitive. There are some exceptions, of course, but by and large, that's like the going rate. That prices a lot of people out. One of the major selling points of the game, the fact that the aggressive reprint policy meant that you were usually able to afford cards, isn't a reality anymore. So what's the common thread that connects all of these problems together? Well, it's decisions being made on the part of Konami. Konami made the decision to reprint a bunch of sets that devalue the binders of the individuals responsible for putting a secondary market together. Konami made the decision to reward competitors of the most prestigious Yu-Gi-Oh tournaments on the planet with rubber mats, and Konami is making the decision to expand reprint sets dramatically to the point where there's no guarantee that any individual reprint set is going to actually include all the cards that you want. I mean, look at how a set like Rarity Collection 2 was pieced into functionally 3 different sets. Itself, the Legends set, and the Tins way down the line, which will have cards like Trident Dragion we all sort of expected would be found in the same place as the other things we needed. Now, like the Twitter threads are saying, do I think these changes are going to kill Yu-Gi-Oh? No, but I don't think it means things are getting better. As vendors, high-end collectors, and OTSs decide it's time to start piecing out of Yu-Gi-Oh entirely, as our top talent leaves in exodus for Lorcana, and as eager players who want to try playing the greatest game on the planet find themselves priced out of anything other than a budget strategy you purchased pre-built off eBay, the community suffers. Are we dying? No, but we're certainly sick. See you next time.